I did something that no normal business people don't do. I've put up 20 years of my tax records, personal tax filing. She should put up 20 years of her personal tax filings and put up the clients of Allied Defense LLC.
Nikki Haley is getting to that bag.
Why do you think they jumped ship from Ron DeSantis to Nikki Haley, like you said, the first part of the election versus the second part? She's been very hawkish.
I think it just became quickly evident that Ron DeSantis
momentum
has no. Well, yeah, I mean, he has no chance. They've concluded, I think, correctly. I mean, I think the same is true about Nikki Haley too. But it became so obvious that with that much money behind him, and we're talking like mega amounts of money that have never been spent in a Republican primary before, if that couldn't lift up this dead weight that's still hanging on the ground, then okay, that's a lost cause. Let's just find the next puppet we can prop up. And, you know, I think that Nikki Haley came out to be actively pro-war. I mean, this is a woman who calls her heels ammunition. This is a woman who, you know, I think when she comes, I mean, I felt like saying on the stage, you know, I'm not some third world nation that you want to come bomb, right? That's what she sees. The bombs explode, her bank account grows. That's the kind of person that says, okay, if she has really greased the wheels of her own bank account to do the thing that we want America to be doing, that's our new puppet. She has no chance, right? I mean, this woman's going absolutely nowhere in this election, but it's the new thing that the establishment has chosen to see if they can't pour the same cash that they were throwing at Ron DeSantis to prop up this new puppet. And
wow, he's saying that the Republican Party are throwing a whole poop ton of money at Nikki Haley, who he considers to be a puppet. And she's going nowhere. So it's just a waste of money. The RNC like to waste money and time, apparently, and you don't like to win elections. Exactly what are you doing? Someone tell me the strategy here, because I'm just trying to pay attention to this these political, you know, chess moves that's happening, and it doesn't seem like it's chess to me. But again, I'm new when it comes to this stuff. So I'm asking y'all if y'all can provide me some type of insight on how this makes sense. How is this positioning the RNC to be tougher, all right, and in a better position when it comes time to run for the presidency?
you know, I think this one's worse than the Ron DeSantis puppet. Ron DeSantis, I wouldn't call him corrupt. Right. I actually think he was a good governor. I think he's a good dude, actually, like at his heart. I think his family's a good family. I think he's been exploited. I think that's actually what's happened here is this man would have just continued being the governor of this state and probably done a pretty good job of it. And then the establishment decided, said, no, that's not your choice. You will be the chosen one to run for president.
You don't think he wanted to?
I don't think he wanted to.
Really?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I haven't, you know, I'm giving you my opinion on this.
Sure, yeah.
Certain things I can tell you are hard facts. Everything we've talked about so far about Ron McDaniel on all that corruption, that's hard fact. Now I'm just giving you my opinion here. I don't think he in his heart would have wanted to do this or felt called to do this. I think he was dragged into this. And it was a form of sort of abuse of a guy who wasn't wired for this, right? I mean, he doesn't have the personality for it. He's not, I don't think that he has a personal appetite for it. I think he cares about the country. I think that he has, you know, he served the country in the military as a lawyer and otherwise. He seems to be a service-oriented person. I think he was doing a good job in Florida. I think he cares about Florida. You know, I think once they started putting him up to this, then it changes your mentality and you use Florida as a pedestal to then achieve national ambition. But him left to himself without the establishment tainting him, he would have just been another of, you know, many good governors across the country. That's the right role for someone like him, or he's an executor. You know, in some ways, people use this expression, they mean it as a slight. You know, he's about somebody they could say he's all talk, no action. In some ways, Ron DeSantis was, for a while, all action and no talk. And I don't mean that as a negative. You could take that as a positive. But when you're talking about running for president of the United States, you have to be able to articulate a vision of who we are and where we're headed. That's part of the job.
But in my opinion, that's all Vivek can do at this moment. Don't get it twisted. I ain't hating on Vivek. I actually think that he's smart as hell. I think he has a great chance if he becomes the RNC nominee, if he becomes the Republican nominee, because Trump is kicked out or disqualified because what they've been working on with the indictments and everything actually worked for them, which I believe they're trying to do. They're trying to keep him out of the race. If they can get Vivek to actually run, I don't even think they will care if he does win at this point. But I don't believe that they will allow it to happen. And just because he articulates a vision for the future, as he says other people should be able to, I still don't think that he'll be as great of a president as you guys think that he has the potential to be. That's just me. I don't, because he got to get these old, stubborn folk that's been in office for a long time to work with him and get these things done. Now, he can go in and operate like a dictator if you want. But, you know what I mean? I think he enjoys being loved too much by the people. Now, it may seem that he's a guard dog. It may seem like he does not care about making friends at this level, but he does. That's the only reason why he's going on such an aggressive podcast tour where he's meeting with everyone who's anyone that have a platform worth visiting. And he goes there and he sells himself as much as possible. And as you can very well see, clearly he's a capitalist, probably the definition of what a capitalist is. When you look up on the screen, like he's a small guy, but you can barely see him behind his books. He has his books right there. You like, buy my books. Vivek, everyone knows that you have books. Everyone knows that you have written some books and will purchase your items. So you don't have to sell that. It's like he's always being in salesman mode. And I ain't got no issue with that either. It's just, I don't believe it. Like, I don't believe it. Like, he's sharp and everything, and I'm not with the people who say, oh, he's too good to be true. I don't believe that to be true either, man. I don't think anyone's too good to be true. I'm not next. Cartier Family had him on because Cartier Family are hot. They are smoking right now. And their channel their channel is on fire and has been for a minute now. Much love to those young guys. But back to this right here, I don't think that he's that dude. I really don't. I would like to see for myself, and I think that he will be the best one out there if Trump wasn't out there. But at the end of the day, he's successful, and he's extremely intelligent, and he can talk just as well as everyone else can talk. And I compared him to Barack Obama as far as how he delivers speeches and debate. But and the same thing goes for Officer Tatum, just did it on his video yesterday, compared him to Barack Obama. But what happens when they get in office? What happens when they get in office? What is he going to do then? So that's all I got to say about that for now.
And that's not a guy who has it. But they propped him up. They forced him into it. But I would not call him really, corrupt. I think he has to dance to the tune of his donors just because that's the way the game is played and it's the mother's milk of politics. And so he does that like any other puppet would. But the person who's actually corrupt in this, like outright corrupt, is Nikki Haley.
Really?
Yeah, she's corrupt. And in the way that like Joe Biden is corrupt.
Is that when you said you made money with Boeing board?
Yeah, I mean, if you just kind of go through the facts here, right? I mean, just like, this is somebody privately benefiting from their public service.
Okay. All right. Well, I just was corrected, guys. Someone corrected me. Alicia let me know that she says, actually, it was Patrick Bet-David that put his books out there. It was Patrick Bet-David doing the capitalist thing and saying, yo, if you're going to be here, let's go ahead and get you set up where you're straight and we make sure that we show love to your books and all that other stuff. Okay, I understand that right there. All right, thanks for clearing that up, guys. I appreciate that. I saw that y'all wrote it. I was going to wait until the end of the video and be like, oh, so Patrick Bet-David said it. You said he says it. He actually admits it at the end of the video.
Right, this is wrong. It's wrong when Hunter Biden does it. Oh, and by the way, all these people, including Nikki Haley, will talk about Hunter Biden. Interesting how that works. Joe Biden's son. She's happy to talk about him without talking about the corruption in her own family. So she's governor of South Carolina, does special favors for this company called Boeing her entire time while she's in office. After her time in public service, she has a nice little cush board seat, ready, warm, waiting for her at Boeing. A private company flies around in a private jet. I think it was some Nephron Pharmaceutical, some pharmaceutical company. I forget what name it was. I'd never heard of it. It's not even some major company, and I come from that industry, but it's some random company that's getting, I don't know what the name of it is, that I haven't heard of. It's okay, but flying her around on their private jet, making their private jet available to her, get state contracts from that governor. And I could go on. I mean, this is just a consistent pattern. Okay, this person has repeatedly milked and done favors for people who have scratched her back. She does her short-lived, cup of coffee stint at the UN, okay? Very short-lived stint. Her real foreign policy experience wasn't her time at the UN. It was the millions she made afterwards. After she steps down, her family starts a military contracting firm, Allied Defense LLC. If the mainstream press were doing their decisions, Allied Defense should have to disclose who their clients are. I did something that no normal business people don't do. I've put up 20 years of my tax records, personal tax filings. She should put up 20 years of her personal tax filings and put up the clients of Allied Defense LLC.
Wow. Wow. Nikki Haley is getting to that bag. My God. Sheesh. You know what? Hey, I see how this might seem slimy and everything. And I do understand why he wanted to put all of her business out there. But this is a good move for her. I mean, listen, the way the government teaches you how to run business, and she is just running it the way that she's supposed to. You know what? Shout out to her and her family. At the end of the day, I don't think she has a chance in hell to be president. I don't. I think she'll have a better chance at being a VP if she were black, or being president if she were black. I mean, that's just me. That's just how I look, because, you look at today's society we're in. Look at what we're in. You get extra points when you're dark. You do. That's why, people want Vivek to win. Listen, I ain't trying to write him off at all. I saw that in the comment. I'm not trying to write Vivek off. I actually respect him for who he is. I respect him for being the father he is, for being the husband he is, for being the businessman he is, for being the politician he is. I respect all of that. But I can still have my doubts, man. I know some of you still have your doubts too, and I'm not trying to get y'all to have any doubts at all. Not one bit. Not one bit. I mean, if he gets the job, more than likely he'll flourish and he'll do an amazing job the same way he does in business. It worked for Trump. When he became president, he ran it like a business and it worked. He got some things done that he said he was going to get done. So, yeah, there's that.
If you're running for U.S. president, tell us who the damn clients are of the military contractor that you started, presumably using your connections from the UN. Starts the military contracting firm. Starts, again, then serving on the board of Boeing. Ends up giving secretive speaking fees from foreign actors while also running a military contracting firm. Think about that. It's Hillary Clinton on steroids. You could just go down the list. She's somebody who, during this presidential campaign, as far as I know, it's unprecedented in U.S. presidential election history, collecting corporate stock options while running for U.S. president. And now she's a multimillionaire. And by the way, what I left out was at the time she left the UN, she and her family were drowning in debt. And by the way, for somebody who's an accountant, that's a discussion for another day. But goes from being, and wants to run the U.S. and says that she's the candidate who's going to fix our national debt problem. Comes out of government, drowning in personal debt, uses connections to start a military contracting firm without naming their clients. Somebody who actually then joins the board of Boeing, the company whose back she scratched forever while governor of South Carolina, another military contractor, speaking fees, including with foreign actors, Hillary Clinton style, collecting stock options while running for U.S. president, all of that, then emerges, just like Joe Biden, a multimillionaire. These are not the people, whether it's Biden or Haley, these are not the people we should want deciding whether to send your kids to die fighting somebody else's war. It's disqualifying. At the very least, be transparent about it. And then you get to the question of the press. Where's the press asking the questions? What are the clients of Allied Defense LLC? It's a dereliction of your duty as the certainly conservative press to ask that basic question. Why shouldn't the American people know who are the clients of the military contracting firm that her fortune bumps up eightfold, becomes a multimillionaire, exploiting her connections at the time at the UN? Now,
hold on, let me see this. Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley boosted her fortune eightfold to $8 million after leaving the Trump administration, according to a report. The former South Carolina governor reportedly had a net worth of less than $1 million when she surprisingly quit as President Donald Trump's top envoy to the United Nations in 2018, but she parlayed her national prominence into a financial windfall by hitting the speaking circuit, joining the boards of top companies, and penning 2 books. Sheesh. Listen, she got connected with somebody who knew how to do some business. That's what you're supposed to do. That's probably why she left anyway. She probably left because somebody got in her ear and told her, with your qualifications and with your knowledge, if you allow us to manage your business just for a little bit, we can do some remarkable things. I know some people right now. Shout out to Myron Golden. I don't know if y'all ever heard him before. He teaches business in a biblical way. He teaches people to grow their business the way Solomon grew his business, the way Solomon grew his fortune. And this guy right now charges $40,000 an hour to consult any person that has a business, because the information he has is so good that it can double your business just in the conversation. Just in a conversation, man. So more than likely, if you are Nikki Haley and you already see that, listen, I'm riding Trump's coattail right now. I'm a part of his United Nations envoy. I want to, somebody probably pulled her coattail and be like, yo, we can do something bigger for you if you allow us to do it. And she connected with them, and she went from $1 million to $8 million. She's getting all these speaking gigs. She got books and all this other stuff. Now I'm looking at it from a business standpoint. She's trying to get on Vivek's level, man. Like, Vivek, so listen, you've never been in debt. I mean, well, you haven't been in debt in a long time, and you're nearing $1 billion in business dealing with big pharma. A lot of people are going to dig into your past and dig into your business dealings as well. But I had to point that out. I don't think that was a bad business deal. Some of you may look at that as treasonous or something like that. I would like to hear more of it, because y'all know more about that than I do. All I'm saying is that this right here sounds to me like she just made a good business deal, unless I'm wrong.
Running to be commander-in-chief on a hawkish worldview, marching us into World War III, we deserve to know. And yet, the same establishment that props up Ronna McDaniel as the chair of the RNC, the same establishment that hires the likes of Kristen Welker to run that debate, the same establishment that tried to prop up Ron DeSantis but realized that even reams of millions could not lift up that dead weight, so now has shifted to Nikki Haley, does not want other people like me asking that question, which is why they're so keen to silence me.
And that's why she called you.
Oh, yeah, and I think it's a lot of projection going on there.
Yeah, because you hurt the wallet. You hurt the wallet, though. If you think about it, Vivek, that everybody in that stage was pro-war. And Pat made a point about a month ago, when you see
bloodthirsty.
when you see a hospital, Vivek, all those rooms, they're in business. They need sick people to be in there.
Yep.
We need a war, and it's a conflict of interest. If you're a defense contracting, your whole family, her husband Michael Haley owns one. Would you become president, Vivek? Would you put legislation to not have that happen?
All of this corruption should be banned. You should not be able to lobby the government for 10 years until after you've left the government. If you have regulated a company or done a deal with a company, as you do in South Carolina with Boeing, you absolutely should never be able to join the board of that company, certainly not for 10 or 20 years.
I agree. That seems like some shady business dealings. It does. It really does. But a lot of these businesses, they don't deal with integrity. They don't deal, in the way that most of us would deal. But he's right based off what he's saying right now. That is crazy. That's a little nuts right there.
Okay, you shouldn't be able to trade individual stocks with your own individual investment discretion if you're a congressman or a regulator of
or
that
Nancy
specific
Pelosi.
industry. Yeah, or Nancy Pelosi. But here's the thing, man, because I have been very critical of the corrupt Democratic establishment, the Pelosi's, the Bidens, the Hillary Clintons of the world. But I can't do that with credibility if we have the same problem in our own house, but then you're not supposed to talk about it. Okay? And here's the thing that, the Republican Party claims to be the party that is against identity politics. I mean, there's an unspoken rule in the Republican Party that if you have two X chromosomes, you got to be careful about going after her. And I get that. I mean, the political consulting class tells me that as well in the first couple debates. Yeah, I've probably got the bad advice, but, she's called me four-letter words each of the last few debates, but there's a certain thing, if you have two X chromosomes, somehow you're immune from criticism. That's not what the Republican Party stands for. Identity politics. If you're running for U.S. president, you can't handle the heat, you stay out of the kitchen. You want to sit across the table from Xi Jinping? You better be able to confront basic questions like your tax returns or how you made your money or who the clients of Allied Defense LLC are. And how that
Hold on. Can y'all stop attacking my guest, because he has thoughts about Trump that y'all don't appreciate? The real Black Terry said, what did he say? He said, I'm not real because I think Trump is not the best option we have. He has made some horrible mistakes Trump people wear blinders. It's like hero worship. It's gross. Okay. All right. So my statement about them not attacking you is off the table now, man. If you're going to call them gross, then they can attack you. I'm sorry, bro. You said that they wear blinders and they're worshiping a hero and it's gross. Y'all go ahead and get them. Nah, don't get them. Can y'all be nice? Like, I get it, y'all are passionate about politics and everything, but my gracious. Y'all, I swear, y'all go fisticuffs real quick when it comes to politics, man, and it's hilarious to me. I just sit back and I just watch it. Y'all are something else. And Lone Wolf says, real black Terry, everyone wears blinders, but I don't disagree. You know what? And that's why I'm here. I'm here because everyone's wearing blinders. Like, we're so locked in with what we want to believe. And when we have conversations with people, we want them to think exactly how we think. And that's it. That's it. Like, it's no give whatsoever. And we need to get out of that. We're too old for that. Unless you're between the age of 15 and 20, then you need to get over that. Like, at the end of the day, hold up. Whoa. I always got to point out my super chats because I don't get a lot of them. Trump has my vote, but I think Vivek is the future. Thank you so much, Phil James 1, for that super chat. I really appreciate it.
Relates to your foreign policy that, frankly, makes more money by taking us to war.
All right, so that came from Valuetainment, guys. Make sure y'all go check out Valuetainment, Patrick Bet David podcast, because he does these type of conversations with individuals all the time. And as a matter of fact, I like to watch these conversations more than I do watching these politicians debate one another. Because when they debate one another in this public, all they're doing is just trying to one-up each other, and it could be filled with lies. But when you're on conversations where it's laid back, like podcasts and whatnot, then you're put in a position to just tell the truth in the non-judgmental space, and understand that you could potentially be challenged on the things that you say. Now, I don't hear a whole bunch of Vivek being challenged in this conversation with Patrick Bet David, nor anybody else who's on the panel with him. But maybe they didn't hear anything that's worth challenging yet. I probably would have challenged him on some things, but since that's their guest, more than likely, well, I've seen them go back and forth with some of their guests. So let me go back on that as well, because